pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With the time being 7:34, we will open our public hearing. Our public hearing is a primary and secondary plat for Travis Tullock, 1627 West Cole Drive. Is there anyone from the audience that wants to speak to this public hearing? Having heard none, I'll take a motion to close this public hearing.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, this public hearing is closed. Today is Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024, and the time being 7:35. The meeting of the Plan Commission is called to order. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. To comply with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the city requests that participants in this meeting complete a voluntary anonymous survey that is available on the table in the back of the room. Amber, will you please call roll?
Kevin.
Here.
Mark.
Here.
Alan.
Here.
Tom.
Here.
Dick.
Here.
Ken.
Here.
Rodney.
Rodney absent. All right. We were all emailed the minutes from our September 3rd meeting. Does anybody have any corrections or additions to those minutes? Having heard none, we will accept the minutes as presented and approved. No old business, we'll move right to the new business. Travis Tullock is requesting a primary and secondary plat for 1627 West Cole Drive.
Yes. Andy Scholey is here to represent Mr. Tullock, so I will have Andy come up.
Andy Scholey, surveyor on this project. Mr. Tullock just wanted to divide the duplex, I believe, in order to potentially, sell off each unit. There's two other duplexes that are just 4 houses to the west that have done the same thing. They've divided those duplexes, and if you look at the county record, there's different owners on each side of the duplex. So Mr. Tullock is wanting to do the same thing.
Pretty much common practice in the city on the duplexes.
We've done a number of these surveys over the years. Yeah.
None of the ones over on Nightingale that way.
Yeah.
Does anyone from the commission have any other questions for Andy?
Andy, I have a question. I'm not completely clear, but if I bought one side and I wanted to tear the duplex down my side, could I do that?
I would say probably no. Usually the attorneys should put some writing in the deeds that, if you got to replace the roof, you can't replace half a roof. So usually when these duplexes are divided, I always make sure I tell the owners, look, when you guys have deeds made, you sell this, there needs to be some kind of maintenance language in there for things that are shared, like the roof. I don't know how that works, if we have a hailstorm, and I guess each of them have homeowners
Well, you get one
insurance.
side damage in a hailstorm.
Yeah, so I usually leave that up to the attorneys.
I'm saying, and you can usually put in a purchase agreement, you can do a utility easement or a maintenance easement or a mutual agreement to care for, that you can't destroy the nature of the structure.
And you said this is not necessarily common practice, but it's happening in other places.
I've probably done 5 or 6 different surveys where we've split duplexes in half. We've done a couple over there in Nightingale Drive. I think we did the 2 that are 4 houses to the west of this one. Yeah.
Okay.
And there are older duplexes that were surveyed and divided in half that I did not do, that were done, 20, 30 years ago, probably when Jim Gorman was surveying.
Any other questions? Having heard none, I take a motion to approve the primary plat at 1627 West Cole Drive. Ken made the motion. Do I have a second? Mark, second. Amber, please call roll.
Mark,
Yes.
Alan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes. All right, now, if we have no further questions, we'll take a motion to approve the secondary plat.
So moved.
Thanks. You made that one. Alan, have a second?
Second.
Amber, please call roll.
Mark,
Yes.
Alan,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Kevin.
Yes. All right, next item on the new business, discussion of annexation fees.
So, all fees through our office for permits, variances, anything like that, are set through this commission. We did, back towards the first of the year, increase a lot of our permit fees. And one that we did not, that I feel that we need to, is the annexation fee. And our annexation fee is $400 and then plus $10 an acre. Now, along with the annexation fee, we have to have a fiscal plan. That is at our expense, at the city's expense, and can range, and we get that through our financial group, our financial consultants, which right now is Reedy Financial. And that can cost anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000. The fiscal plan is required by state with any annexation. So I'm looking to raise the annexation fees, not to $2,000 or $3,000, but to raise it to where we could get compensated some, more so than the $400, to be able to kind of offset that cost, because that is one that the city undertakes. So I'm looking for maybe ideas. I can tell you what I was thinking. We don't have to make a decision tonight. We can think about it and in January come back with, a number. I was thinking along the line of $1,000, which still is not close to what a fiscal plan costs us, but it would help offset that. So I just wanted to bring that up tonight to discuss it, and either you all think about it, or if you feel it needs to be more or less.
Sarah, would you be looking to bump the per acre fee as well?
Not necessarily. I mean, we could look at that though. That's an option as well, to do both.
So your thought was 1,000 plus the $10 per acre. Have you had a chance to look at what any other communities around
I have
us are
not,
charging?
and I apologize for that. I know that when I was looking at the permit fees and stuff, that I saw that, and I have that information, but I failed to look at it. But I will do that, and I can put a little thing together and send it out to you all.
Okay.
Like I said, this is not a decision we have to make tonight. I just wanted to bring it before you for discussion, but I think it is something we need to look at doing.
And what's the purpose of the plan with Reedy?
It's a fiscal plan. So a fiscal plan is going to, like it'll state in there, the city will provide certain utilities to them within a certain amount of time. What monies that the city, by annexing a property, and that the city would be invested in if this property is to be annexed into the city limits. Am I saying that correctly, Chris?
You are. So Sarah's correct. So within all of the annexation statutes, there is a requirement for a fiscal plan that has some very specific identifiers that have to be included, such as how this annexed property will get utilities, how this annexed property will affect the tax base, how this annexed property will, basically how it will impact the city in terms of the fiscal well-being of the city. And there's certain findings that have to be made by they don't necessarily have to be done by a professional, but the data that's required is not readily available or maintained by the city, so generally it's more cost effective to have somebody like Reedy do it than it is to try and create the wheel and create the systems that would give us the information necessary for the city to do it. But it has been, particularly in most recent statutory changes, it has been made applicable to basically any type of annexation. So even if we have a voluntary annexation where the homeowner or the property owner has said, yes, I definitely want this to be part of the city, we still have to create this plan.
So that's a plan that has to be created per annexation?
Per
Yes.
annexation, yes.
Even if it's, like he said, a single-family home, I mean, one home, there's still
Who
has,
pays the annexation fee now? Does the homeowner pay it, or
whoever, yes, that
whoever
is,
owns the property?
yes. And is
But
applying
the-
for that annexation.
But I was gonna say, but the cost of the fiscal plan is still borne by the
City.
city. So, and I think that's, I agree with Sarah that I think in looking at this, it probably behooves us to try to recoup some of that cost, because there's nothing statutorily or legally that allows us to shift that to anyone other than the city. So the city is always going to bear that particular cost.
And I even talked to Chris to see if it was something that we could do in-house, like if I could create this fiscal plan, but, yeah, that's beyond me, so. Because again, this is information that our financial consultants have readily available to them that that I would not have. And some of them can get really detailed. And we did one a year and a half or so ago, and the fiscal plan was this thick, okay? And yeah, so it's just a lot easier to have our financial consultants to do it. That is things they're used to doing.
And I would say, I also think it's probably one of those situations that it doesn't happen so frequently that the information hasn't changed from the last one. I mean, if you had like 2 or 3 quick annexations in a row, my guess is your cost may be somewhat diminished, because they said, well, we already just did this. I mean, particularly since we utilize Reedy for so much that we do, they have access to our information very quickly. But you're still dealing with the computations, you're still dealing with the preparations of the report at a professional services, cost level. And I think that's where you really run into it. But it is absolutely something that I looked in detail and could not find a loophole that would let us do it without doing one. So.
Yeah, that's superior. I mean, that 400's probably been,
It's probably been that, well, a long time.
and it does appear to be on the low side. But I guess, I'd like to see just some information as to what
Other
other
cities and towns, sure.
municipalities are charging
Sure.
for an annexation fee, just to have some basis to make a
Comparison.
decision upon.
Yeah, I'll get that together tomorrow, and I'll email it out to all of you so you have a better idea. And as I said, we can discuss this again next month. It's nothing that has to be decided upon this evening, so.
I don't think your suggestion's out of line, the $1,000. But we might want to look at the acreage fee also,
Mhm,
because I think that would be more equitable if you have
mhm.
the homeowner that's doing it versus somebody that's developing a large plot. I think
Sure.
it'd be more equitable if you had the base fee plus.
Sure, and we can look at, doing both of them.
See what I'm
That's, mhm.
I think you have to be careful though, that you're not gonna have that thing where you're gonna want it to.
Right. Well, that's another thing, and that's kind of where I was coming in and thinking of, this is, even if we would raise it to $1,000, it's not gonna cover the cost of the fiscal plan.
Recoup our cost in the
tax
But-
base that would get.
Right, but we don't wanna set it so high that people are like, especially, you know, one home, you know, one family, we don't wanna set it so high that then they're like, you know, well, we don't have that kind of money to do that, so
I think one
let's
thing
not.
you might also want to look at is, if it is an area where you have existing homes and structures, maybe even a fee for that compared to when you're gonna annex in 300 acres of property and build from ground up. I mean,
Yeah, we could do it.
if you know that going in, that you're gonna have to pay that fee is a lot different than if you've never paid it before. All of a sudden now you're getting an annexation fee.
Well, I would say I haven't looked at the legality of it, but I think we could certainly look at if, you know, if it's a small enough acreage, you charge a one fee, but if it's a, you know, so if it's 5 acres or less, it's this fee. If it's 5 acres or more, then it's a higher fee, and that may be where you incorporate the higher rate of the acreage fee, because then it's covering the larger scale development like you were talking about. I can look into the legality of those, splitting those fees. I think it should be fine. I can't think of a legal reason right now that I would say that you couldn't do it that way, but I'm always gonna hedge my bets and tell you that I'm gonna look at it, so.
You just created a homework assignment yourself.
It's amazing, isn't it?
But I'll
It's like
get you
I
some
do this for a
information out. I'll get you some information out tomorrow, so there's some comparison and we can discuss it next month. Okay, thank you.
No, I don't think this needs to be, she was just asking if we need a motion or anything. I don't think this needs to be tabled. I think it was just open for discussion to begin with. So we can just continue to have it on the discussion for old business next month.
We will have a meeting next month.
Okay,
Yes, we will.
all right, good.
I still think it will be or not. We will.
If nothing else come in front of the commission, I take a motion to adjourn. Have a second?
Second.
All right, gentlemen, we're done.